Here we're going to be discussing manifestation as a whole. You know, the last time I went live, I wasn't feeling too well. Now I'm feeling so much better. I healed pretty relatively quickly. I was manifesting good health, so that happened fairly quickly, which is great. Let's pray that there's no abominations that end up entering this live, no trolls. And let's have a nice discussion. Okay, so manifestation, right? A huge fundamental aspect of manifestation is persistence, okay? Being persistent, remaining persistent, etc. But what is persistence? And is it the only thing that matters? Is it really and truly the only thing that matters when it comes to manifesting? Persistence. The short answer is no, but we're going to discuss that in just a couple of moments. But first, let me allow for you to understand what persistence actually is. What does it mean to persist? Persisting, is basically involving yourself with the mentality of never, ever giving up, never calling it quits. Like you have tunnel vision involving that which you deeply desire to experience. You never give up, ever. I mean, this world could be ending, theoretically speaking, and you still won't give up, right? No matter what is said, no matter what is done, no matter what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, no matter how many supposed opposite-based things keep showing up, you do not stop, you do not give up, you do not give in, excuse me. Well, giving in is not an option either, but you get the point. That is what it means to remain persistent. That is what it means to persist. That is what persistence is. A more simpler way to put it is this. Persistence, persisting equals never giving up. So you can see why that's extremely important and why so many coaches and teachers suggest to be persistent. You could see why they suggest to persist, because it's involving yourself with the mentality of never giving up. That is extremely important. Don't give up. Don't ever call it quits on what you deeply desire to experience. Never give up. Now, earlier I mentioned, is persistence the only thing that matters when it comes to manifesting? Is it truly the most important fundamental aspect of manifestation? The short answer is no. And I told you I was going to elaborate on that in just a few moments. Well, here we go. The reason why it's not the sole key to manifesting, the only thing that matters involving manifestation, is because there is consistency that is also present. And unfortunately, a lot of people in this community are not being consistent. A lot of you guys are masters of persistence. Like a lot of you guys, you just refuse to give up. You do not give up. No matter what's happening, you just don't call it quits. And that's amazing. And that's inspiring. But where you go wrong is you're not being consistent. Now, what is the difference between being consistent when it comes to conscious manifestation versus not? What is the difference, rather, between being consistent and being persistent? Being persistent means you're being persistent with the mentality of never calling it quits, of never giving up. When you're being consistent in the sense of you're actually doing the work. So when you're doing your affirmations, or utilizing a guided meditation, or when you're actively utilizing some sleep subliminals, either during the day or at night. How you doing, Aiden? How are you today? I'm doing a lot better than last time I was live, that's for dang sure. I was sick last time, very sick. Thank you. So when you're doing your affirmations, when you're utilizing your guided meditations, the subliminals, when you're scripting, when you're actively disciplining yourself, when you're actively practicing being mindful, when you're actively practicing self-regulation, you're being consistent. Technically speaking, it's not really that you're being persistent in that moment, or in those moments. In a sense you are, but you're mainly being consistent. I guess if you want to look at it as combining the two, then you can look at it as like that in that way. You could look at it in that way. That's not good. Yeah, man, I healed up pretty fast though, so I'm grateful for that. But most people are just being consistent and not actually being consistent. I mean, being persistent and not consistent. So the goal here is to be consistent and persistent. It's not just you acknowledging that you're never going to quit on what you want. It's not you just acknowledging that you're never going to give up. It's you actually taking initiative and doing what's necessary. So you combine the two. You know, there's oftentimes an expression I give. Imagine that you're mixing up, you're making some incredible soup, like an incredible clam chowder or some fucking beef stew or some shit like that, like an incredibly amazing soup. You sprinkle some consistency, you sprinkle some commitment, and then you sprinkle and add some persistence. You mix it all together, and you just created some soup that Gordon Ramsay would be proud of. You're to be consistent and persistent while remaining committed at the same time. Consistency is where a lot of you guys are going wrong because you're not doing this work daily. You're taking days off. You're making excuses as to why you're not doing what needs to be done. Oh, I work too much. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I forgot, blah, blah, blah. There's no excuse that you're going to be able to give that's good enough. I mean, last week, I was like super, super fucking sick. And I still remained consistent with doing my inner work. I at least made the attempt. And that is what I am talking about. You have to be consistent if you ever hope, wish, etc., whatever word you want to use for things to change internally. You have to be consistent. Okay? It can't just be one of those things to where you're remaining persistent on a continuous basis because then ain't shit gonna get done. Change happens through the medium of being consistent. Shifts take place through the medium of being consistent. Energetically, spiritually, etc. Shit like that takes place by deciding that you're actually gonna do the work. That's why I suggest getting yourself into a routine. It doesn't have to be something like you don't have to do the same exact thing at the exact same time every single day, but get yourself into a habit, get it yourself maybe into a little bit of a routine, stay consistent, do the work daily, engage with the work daily. That's what I'm attempting to really relate to you. Do the work daily. When you do the work daily, you'll impress your subconscious mind, you'll shift your internal state, your internal dialogue, you'll shift into a better version of yourself, you'll shift overall for the better on a continuous basis, period. Instead of just entertaining the mentality of not giving up, you entertain the mentality of not giving up, you mix that in with actually doing the work, and you commit yourself to it every day. You don't take days off. I mean, you don't have to force yourself to do anything you don't want to do in the moment, but make it a habit of at least attempting to do the work daily. Manifesting you to win the lottery. I definitely appreciate that. But lotteries honestly are quick fixes and they don't last for a lot of people, unfortunately, because you know, people end up manifesting like lottery wins, but they never actually change their mindset involving money, so they end up losing the money. It's a real shame, honestly, but anyways, I appreciate it nonetheless. So yeah, be consistent, be persistent, do the inner work, stop making excuses as to why you're not doing the inner work, and just do the fucking inner work. And sure enough, you will experience changes internally, and then you'll experience changes externally. Remember, it will start internally first, okay? So you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. Take care, stay safe, much love and peace. Feel free to check the first pinned comment down below when there's live updates, uploads, and so on. I didn't mean to say update, I meant to say upload. But you get the point, alright? Much love and peace, take care, God bless, and stay safe.